What's up, guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Joe, and today we're going to be talking about the introduction to constitutional law and business administrations, and just how things really work in that based on the couple of chapters that we've read. Before we get into that, did you know that 100% of my viewers aren't actually subscribed? So if you could just make sure, go down and check, subscribe, like the video, maybe leave a comment if you feel like it. That would mean a lot. Thank you. Anyways, back to the course content. So the introduction to constitutional law, I thought the first chapter was pretty interesting. It talked about, it was really just like a long history lesson about the Constitutional Convention and 1776. So what happened was, well, not 1776, it was 1788. And what happened was, if you don't know, which you probably do, that the Articles of Confederation, the original government, the model for our government was very weak. It sucked. It wasn't good. There were rebellions, and there was a lot of stuff that happened that just was not good for the government, made it look really weak, and a lot of problems were happening that we couldn't solve because the government did not have enough power. So, in 1788, a bunch of wise gentlemen went over to Philadelphia, and they met and they drafted a new government, which we now know as the Constitution. So they created this kind of strong central government where the power is limited by the people, and there was more power given to the states, but also still strengthening that central government. They decided that after at least 9 states accepted it, it would be ratified. That happened in the June of 1788, New Hampshire, I believe. And the framers succeeded. They were credited with saving the Union from an almost certain disaster, which was pretty cool, because we probably wouldn't be here, or we might, just in a less good area. I hope you could hear me all right, by the way. So they divided the authority of the government into 3 branches, and these are called the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. The executive branch is where the president is, and that's where him and his cabinet reside, and their job is to execute the law and give orders and make sure, country's cool, everything's going right. And honestly, respect. Except for right now. The legislative branch is where Congress and the House of Representatives and the Senate are, and their job is to pretty much make the law. They draft acts and laws, and they have to send that in for the president to ratify and the judicial branch to go through as well. And that brings me to the judicial branch. That is the Supreme Court, and that handles the court systems and judicial review, which is a really cool power that I don't think we've gotten into yet. So we'll leave that for another video. So that's pretty much just making sure all new legislation is constitutional and good. It doesn't impinge on any of our rights or our freedoms that we all know and love, because we wouldn't want that, would we? Each branch intentionally has the power to limit the other branches, so one branch doesn't have entirely too much control over the others. That's very important, because if we didn't have this system of what's called checks and balances, then one branch, like the executive or judicial or legislative, could just become super powerful, uncontrollable, and just rule the country and potentially the world. And that doesn't sound too good, does it? And then we also read a chapter on administrative law. Now, if I'm going to be honest, by the time I got to this chapter, it was late at night, and I was very tired, so I did not take as detailed notes as I did for the first one, but I'm still going to summarize it as best I can and talk about what's interesting. So administrative law is the type of law that regulates the government and controls how these agencies operate. It defines the powers and procedures and the limitations of these administrative agencies, as well as focusing on the rights of the individual when we deal with that. The Constitution is the biggest and first form of limitation on these government agencies. They cannot do anything that goes against the Constitution. No one can do anything that goes against the Constitution, ever. It is illegal, and it's not good. No one likes it. There's also the APA, which is the Administrative Procedure Act, and it's just a basic law that lays down procedures that agencies use in the performance of their functions. Executive orders are another form of authority that can be given out by the president specifically, when he just gives what's called an executive order, which is pretty much telling an agency, hey, do this, and they have to do it. Administrative agencies have a number of names: departments, commissions, bureaus, councils, groups, services, divisions, and agencies, of course. Not all governmental entities are agencies. Certain ones that aren't, like the courts and the legislatures, not considered agencies technically. And they're usually created by Congress itself when we find a problem that we're like, hey, we really would like a specialized group of people for this. Um, and yeah, that's because the job of the government is just too much for the broader three branches to handle on their own. So it's more effective to create these agencies and make these powerful, not so much powerful, but these intellectual groups of people who actually know what they're talking about, instead of having like 70, 80-year-old men trying to make laws on technology. I don't think that makes much sense. Um, and we're at about 6 minutes, so that's gonna be it for the video. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Write something nice in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one. It's gonna be good.